China's 2 for 2. And looking ahead of this men's 10-meter synchronized platform event, you got to look at Thomas Daley. Great Britain will be well represented, as will the United States. How do you see this competition shaping out?
Well, China's definitely a dominant factor in this event as well. They're very storied in this event. They do have a new young pair in this one, though, so we'll see if their depth is apparent here or if somebody else may take the lead. Speaking of a new pairing, this is the first international competition that Tom Daley has dove with Max Brick, the 17-year-old on the right. They're starting off with a front 1.5 somersault in the pike position. Good start for Great Britain. Everybody starts with a simple dive, or we call it a required or a voluntary dive, in the first 2 rounds of this contest, and all the degree of difficulties will be 2.0. In the 3rd through 6th rounds, they'll start doing the multiple flipping and twisting or optional dives. Daley and Blake Aldridge were 8th in the 10-meter synchronized event in the Olympics. They had a public falling out after the Olympics, actually a dispute during the competition. They finished last, a lot of finger pointing, and the two decided to part ways, especially after Aldridge was involved in a little altercation in a nightclub. He paired up with Max Brick, who he had dived with going back to 2003. Place and McCrory and Fincham sitting in 4th. And the loudest ovation reserved for Thomas Daley, the 14-year-old on the left, and Max Brick, the 17-year-old. And they're doing an inward 1.5 somersault in the pike position. We're still in the required rounds, so everything will be a 2.0 degree of difficulty. These two won the synchronized title at the British Championships in 2009, earlier in the year. Great entries going into the water. A little bit of a distance problem. I know I've been pointing that out a lot, but on these simpler dives, it's very apparent to the judges when you have a distance issue. And you'll see Thomas on the far side just fading a little bit farther back into the pool. But both very clean entries. Their individual scores will be really high. Thomas Daley, who was the talk of the town in Beijing, China, and leading up to that, going in, just a 14-year-old who was an Olympian, was the youngest to take to round number 4 of diving. Thomas Daley and Max Brick for Great Britain, ranked number 7 in the world is this nation in 10-meter synchronized diving. And they're doing a back 3.5 somersault in the tuck position, which is a 3.3 degree of difficulty. And this is a blind entry dive. Anytime you see a back or reverse, it's a blind entry. They can't see the water. Obviously no problem for this team, though. Very solid dives from these young men. Good synchronization. Individual scores will be really high. Very impressive. You can see right off the start, good timing. Young is indeed the operative word, Laura, because you have Daley, who's 14, was 14 years, 79 days at the start of the Olympics, and Max Brick in your screen, only his 2nd full year of senior level competition. 83.16 though, a nice dive for Great Britain. Welcome back to Sheffield, England. They call it England's Steel City. Alongside Laura Wilkinson, I'm Danny Lee. So glad you can watch the Diving World Series here on Universal Sports. Remember, you can catch all the Diving World Series stops here on Universal Sports or on demand at universalsports.com. The men's 10-meter synchronized final, Thomas Daley, Max Brick entering the round in 3rd place. They're doing a reverse 3.5 somersault in the tuck position, big degree of difficulty. Oh, and that's a pretty rough miss for Max. Good synchro off the tower. Their timing was great. Their distance looked good, but it looked like Max unfolded or kicked out of his dive just too early. You can see right here, takeoff, excellent. You can barely see Thomas on the far side of the screen, but Max doesn't quite unfold at the right time and leaves it very short of vertical. That's going to hurt them. Daley in the foreground won the Diving World Series 10-meter title in 2008, 64.26 for the Brits in the 3 rounds following their 2 compulsory rounds. This is their 5th round now in last place. And they're rounding out the competition here in the last round with a back 2.5 somersault with 1.5 twist pike. 3.4 degree of difficulty. The teams, I think all the teams are doing either this dive or they're adding a twist to this dive. And they set the pace right there. Very solid. Max just sliding ever so slightly past vertical, but a great debut for these two for sure. Yeah, terrific timing in the air there. Max just digs it a little past vertical. Thomas's was very good. Great finish. Over 400 points. That's a great score.
It's a shame Daley and Aldridge had the falling out, but Daley and Aldridge were separated by 12 years in age difference. Thomas Daley's 14, Brick is 17. And they're a little more closer related in that department.
Kind of makes
Can only be described as a truly unbelievable performance from the Chinese. 494, that's where the bar is. Can we get close to that for 2012?
I think if we got straight 10s on all of our dives, we would have got nowhere near that score. So I think we have to get a lot more tariffs so that we can even come anywhere near that score.
Certainly, so you're fighting for the lesser medals when we go to Rome. Would it be nice to go to World Champs and fight for the medals?
Yeah, it would be really good. Hopefully we can just get a lot of training and perfect what we've already got.
Well, first hit out, fantastic job, guys. Well done.